Today is Friday, May 13th, 2005, and this is the beginning of an interview with Mr. Albert Lavanche at his home at 1899 Spring Hill Road, Portage, Pennsylvania. Mr. Lavanche is 82 years old, having been born on October 23rd, 1922. My name is Corey Fuller, and I will be conducting this interview today with Charles Gauss and Brandon Kick.
18 when you got drafted, or
19.
You were 19.
19.
All right. Did
I
you
love
go?
about that Bell Aircraft. I got to tell you this: the factory, not the factory, the churches, like say St. Joe's, Sacred Heart, they every weekday they'd have a dance, and I was 18, 19, around that age. All the girls were around that age, you know. So I had a ball. Monday I'd go to St. Joseph's, then we'd go for 2 hours, and it's $1 to get in, $1 to get in, and then we'd go for 2 hours. Then we'd go, they'd take us to an opera on the buses. They'd take us to an opera in Buffalo. We got all that for $1, and I was going Monday, Tuesday. I wasn't getting much sleep though. Boy, the girls were all beautiful. They're all single, so we were all single too, you know. So that was a good part.
Did you go through boot camp, and what kind of training did you
Louder.
have? Did you go through boot camp?
Did I what?
Boot camp?
Boot camp.
Yeah, what kind of training did you have before you
Oh,
went
we
over?
had one most wonderful training. We were in such good shape, my buddy and I. He was from Illinois. We'd run the underneath the guns firing over top of you and all that for 6 weeks. And you were allowed to go to beer because you had your own bar, like, and it was that weak beer, you know. But what we would do, we'd start out. My buddy and I would start out, and we'd do our own, you know, in the whole 3 or 4 hours. Then we'd go around and find some big heavy fella,
Yeah.
and I'd ask the captain, can we use him and his name? We'd do it twice a day. We just loved it, and that was the stupidest thing. Here they are, machine gunning over the wire, right over top of you. They're going big, 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 big. They're going boom, and some of them are going a little high and a little low. You could get killed that way, you know.
Yeah.
So that's how we'd spend our 6 weeks, because we were in good shape. Not now. Too much beer.
What do you remember about your instructors?
Speak
Am I not
for
allowed?
him because he's not speaking. No, I'm kidding. What's that?
Your instructors? Like,
An
how did you
instructor?
like your instructors for boot camp?
Well, I worked up, you know, I was a sergeant, then then tech sergeant, and then first sergeant. So, you know, one good thing I did, there was 30 first sergeants, and they were in this special where you slept, you know, and the captain was so nice. That's when we were coming back home already. The war was over, and I said, Captain, can I do something? He was just like that. He and I were just so, you know, when you're. And another thing, his dad, I didn't know it, about 6 years ago, I saw it in the paper. His grandpa would be his dad, okay? He was 25 years old, his captain. And his dad was Clark Candy Bar. He was the president of the Clark Candy Bar. All I had to do, I had three letters from generals that I never met, but the captain met them, you know. And he said, if you ever want a job as a salesman like insurance, he said, take these letters. And I have them. And I forgot about it. I could have been right with the board of directors, because the captain his father was older, he was going to retire, so he was taking over, and I was his best friend in the whole world, because when you're in combat, you look for the officers, and you look for the other privates too, you know. So I forgot about it, and about 6 years ago I thought, I told my wife, I said, why didn't I go to Pittsburgh and get an interview and everything? I knew how to get it. I started my college already, you know, and then I realized. She said it. She said, yeah, Dad, but how about if you go down to Pittsburgh and hit by car, and you got started school now, you know. So I should have gone down there and done it, you know, because it was a big, Clark Candy, you know, Clark Candy, you know. And the father was about ready to retire, and the son was 25, so he'd take right over, you know. But that would have been a great job.
Yeah.
I could talk like this for years. New stories always come up.
Yeah. How did you like the food?
It was good, except when they gave lamb, I had 200 guys in my company. When they had lamb, they'd go and they'd smack it and, get their bayonets and stick it in. They didn't like lamb, they hated lamb. That's what they were killing lambs that were killed. That was really funny.
Did you eat Spam and SOS?
Beg pardon?
Did you eat Spam?
Oh, a lot of spam, but I didn't mind it.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not real particular with that.
What about SOS?
Shit on shingles?
Yeah.
Yeah, we had a lot of that. But their C, the cans
C,
come in
yeah.
vitamin C, I guess. And that was good, And there was no, usually in combat, you don't have a kitchen like we have when you're in between,
Yeah. So how'd you end up in a tank unit? Did you sign up for it, or did they
What
put
I
you in
did,
it?
what I did is, I took commercial in high school, okay? So typing and all that, I had that already. So I went to school, and then they promoted me to private first class or something. Then I went up to corporal. Then I hated it because you don't have a gun.
Yeah.
And then I got into searchlights, where when a plane comes over, that's just practice.
Yeah.
And then you throw they're 60-inch bulbs, So
Yeah.
when you hear a plane coming, they're cubs, So you hear a plane coming, you get the light on and they're shot down, naturally not shot down, but they were photographed,
Yeah.
whether we hit them or not, I found out after a couple of weeks, if the airplane was over here, I had the searchlight over there, and we never did get on this plane. I mean, we just couldn't find each other. And another thing, I didn't have a gun. I didn't want to be in a war without a gun. So then I transferred, and they said, we have no openings in the infantry right now, but how about tanks? And I said, give me a tank.
Yeah.
I wanted to get a gun. Then I got a 50 caliber because
Yeah.
I was in charge. That was nice.
Yeah.
Then I got more promotions,
How did you work your way up to be in charge?
Just like that.
So just
Yeah,
time.
when you, if you did something good, the next guy up would recommend you to the captain or the lieutenant, and then you'd have that stripes,
Yeah.
I have my stripes. Oh. What happened when we get off the ship? We were so anxious to get into New York and look for babes, So we were allowed 3 days to go through New York City. And that was a lot of fun too. But we didn't have any we wanted to get out of our uniforms. We were so tired of them, And so then we start hitting the bars, and looking for girls naturally. So the only thing I saved was when I was a commander of VFW. That's Portage. Oh, here it is. You'll see my first sergeant now. I had this, there was a girl, well, you guys probably know her, Ronan.
Courtney
There's a
Ronan.
Ronan
Courtney
girl.
Ronan,
She's
yeah.
very attractive, I thought. Well, she did the same thing like we're doing now, I gotta show this. That's the only one I had left. 9th Armored Division, First Sergeant. You get that thing, you go as high as you can go.
Congratulations.
9th Armored, that was what we did. That was it.
And that's what you wore around when you were in New York? Is that what you wore whenever you were in battle, or whenever you were in New
I
York?
just happened to save it somehow,
When did you wear that?
in combat.
Right.
Yeah, right, and it was real cold. Oh, the balls was 16 days. We never saw a plane over, anything was so bad. The weather was so bad that we actually, I had 81 tanks, and when I got done, this is a real long story, no short. We had to meet in Bastogne because the Germans had put their last big push on. I mean, they were coming, they got every tank they had and everything, and they come right into us where we were, Here I ended up with 7 tanks, and what you gotta do when you abandon a tank, you have to raise the barrel, put grenades, acid grenades in the barrel, and there's 2 16 engines, 2 8-cylinders. You put 2 acid into the motor, so the Germans couldn't get any part of it. It'd just be all gone. Okay, so we left our engines running, which is that's court martial. You gotta stop that tank if you're not shooting. we were so shit and we were so worried, he just took off. I got on the radio and I said, there's only 7 of us left, 7 tanks, and I said, go for Bastogne, it's only 2 miles. I was on the radio, you know. Go for Bastogne, it's only 2 miles, and that's where 1,600 Americans were killed in 16 days. 1,600 in that one town. And the Germans were kept around us. Then that's when Patton came in. He came in, but it was too late. And then paratroopers dropped down, and we just walked out.
Really?
We got out of that place. That's luck. It was just, but a lot of guys died. 1,600 every day around that figure, you know. So we were very lucky. A couple times. I'm going to tell you one story, and then I'm not talking about the war anymore. I was in the first tank. You got me going now. I was in the first tank, naturally, every 3rd day. So this was my day. I'd be up front. So then the other 2 guys would get a rest, okay? And they'd go in the back. So my turn that day, and I don't want to just talk to one guy. I'm telling all you guys. So it was my turn to go out front, and I had to put 5 houses on fire. The captain tells you what to do. He said, put the first 5 houses on fire, and naturally you follow orders. And the people always went to the basements, you know what I mean? And we knew they went to the basements, so we'd shoot every house 2nd story, you know. We didn't want to kill civilians, you know, and I did a few, but you can't help it. But where was I? Oh, that's one story. The nurse was coming out, and it was dark yet, you know, in the morning. And I said, Dwight dead, you know. She said, 4 dead. So there was a mother and dad and a son-in-law and a niece, and she was telling me, very broken German, you know, English too, very broken. And they were gone, you know, they were killed. And but that's not the bad one. Another day I was coming up, and my turn to be first again. That motor screwed up again. There must have been something wrong with it. And same thing. What I did was wave the next guy on, and there was 5 tankers in the next tank, which would have been me and my 4 guys. And when I gave it, you know, you have to pull off because your tank's not working right. So you wave the next guy on. Well, some little German Hitler guy, 12 years old, he heard us coming, an 81 tanks. He heard us coming, so he dug a hole. And then he got some old woods, and then he put sod on it. He had a lot of time, 81 tanks. They don't go very fast, you know. Put sod right on top of it. And when a tank should have been in ours, of course, sergeant had to go beyond me. He went beyond me. 50 yards, they got a direct hit with the Panzerfaust, which is a bazooka. 12-year-old killed all of them. It ricochets.
Yeah.
And then a captain, who was my best friend in the whole world, I said, Captain, let me kill the son of a bitch. I said, let me kill him. 12-year-old. He had a uniform on too. Well, Hitler had that. Yeah. He had a youth thing, you know. And he said, no, he's a prisoner of war. So he got out of it. He walked back to, when you ever surrender, you put your hands behind your back, and then you walk back, and then they have fences waiting for you. They're prisoners, you know. Mm-hmm. One more story. This guy was a black shirt, and he was a colonel. And my tank was named Cecilia, and kind of the guy was married. His wife was Cecilia, and we were Company C. This guy come up, one of those black shirts, you know, he come up. You never saw a nicer uniform, you know. Yeah. And that son of a bitch, excuse the language. When he come up to my tank, I was first that day again, he come up and he was just white, you know. He's just all medals and everything, you know. And I thought, well, I'll kill him. You know, I kill somebody else. He said, he come up there and he went, spit a hawker on my tank. I said, that son of a bitch spit on my tank, Captain. He spit on my tank. Cecilia, he spit on Cecilia. And the captain said, go ahead, Colonel. You're off duty now. He left him go. That cannon was that close to his chest. And he was just like, he wanted to die. Because he was so, you know, Hitler's one of Hitler's brainwashed, you know. Never see me going up to a cannon like that. Okay, what's next?
Is there like one special officer that you remember the most? That
one separate what?
Special officer of yours?
a special officer.
Yeah, that you got to
Just-
know real
Just the
well.
captain. Two lieutenants were killed in duty, you know.
Yeah, did you get to know him pretty well? And
No,
kept
no,
in touch
not
with
right, because they were coming up replacements, you know.
him? Yeah. What regulations were very frustrating?
Was frustrating,
Yeah.
all of it. All of it. Frustrating, a lot of it. I never complained about the food. I wasn't fussy, you know. That would be something. This is cute. There's a guy in the infantry. He wrote to me and I wrote back once a month. And he wrote me a letter. He's from Philadelphia, little Italian boy. He said,
Yeah.
Mill's my nickname, Emilio Mill. Emilio, that's my Italian name. So he wrote me a letter and he said, you know, a guy could get killed out here. What else you doing there in a war? He said, can you imagine a guy could get killed out here? You know, in Germany, of course you get killed if you're not careful. I like that. That was so cute. He said,
Did it frustrate you a lot when they're like
Beg pardon?
Did it frustrate you a lot like when your officers told you weren't allowed shooting someone that you wanted to? Did that frustrate you?
What?
When they told you couldn't shoot someone that you wanted to?
Oh yeah, the head officer he shut me down right away.
Yeah.
He said, that 12-year-old,
Did that
let me
frustrate
kill
you?
him, let me kill him, let me kill the fucker. You know, let me kill the fucker. You know, but then you knew some words, huh? And he let them go, and then the colonel was later on, let them go. Oh, there was all of them had their hands back like this. And they know they surrendered already.
Yeah.
Then you get into another bunch, though, that did surrender. That happened. You probably don't, Mr. McCoskey, teacher? You don't know?
No,
Well, he was the 69th was a Pennsylvania outfit. And our tanks were 3 columns, 81 tanks, 81 tanks, 81 tanks, in a straight line about a mile apart. And then we'd go right through, and then 69th would come up infantry, and they got the shit knocked out of them. They'd come up and go like back and forth like this to clean up what we left behind. And Joe McCoskey he was a teacher up here in Portage. And he played for the township. Well, I was in a borough then, and they had a big line. I tell you, it was about over 200 pounds, the line. And we beat him 61-0. And when he was a teacher, and I was a principal. I'm not speaking to you, Lavanche. I'm not speaking because we beat him, you know. Oh, that was funny. That was after after we were friends again.
Yeah. Who's the most unforgettable person you met while you're in the service?
Captain. Yeah. He was one of the greatest. Then I forgot to tell you that part. Then he had a Jeep. Then he'd take the Jeep out in front of my tank every 3rd day. And I said, how am I going to kill chickens or people if you're out there with nothing on you? You know, no. He didn't even have a rifle. He had a pistol. And after we got so many killed, he'd ride the first Jeep instead of getting in a tank. The dummy auto. He should have, captain. And I said, I can't shoot now. I can't. Right now, if I look out there and I see chickens or soldiers or old men or whatever, you could do what you wanted to. But he stayed out front with his driver, and that's what he did. So finally, I guess he got tired because he cut it out a little long. Well, it's long, with 3 years, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah, so it was a long spell.
Yeah.
We got rest though. They'd send you back, and then you could come back up. You know, our company. Was it camera on?
Yeah.
So, is it on? That's all that
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
Oh, you're full of crap.
I was just wondering if it's at a good angle, like if it's still
Yeah,
easier.
You mean there's voice on it too?
Yeah.
It records everything.
Which the school own that?
I
No, they
believe-
borrowed it from
Huh?
they
Yeah.
borrowed it from the college.
Oh, did they?
Yeah.
Which college? St. Francis or?
No.
CCACC.
Yeah.
What?
Penn Highlands
It's a
Community
community
College.
college for Cambria County.
Oh, right. I've heard of that one. In fact, they send a booklet out about schedules and all that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What courses you can take.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, I checked that a couple, just, looking at it, Then my grandson, when he was working on his master's, he taught in that school, the one that they were just starting up. And he taught English, so he stayed there for a year, and then he went back to Dayton, not Dayton, he went back, he's close to Dayton now. When he was back in Georgia for 4 years, and he got his master's, then he got his doctor's. University of Cincinnati. But he taught there 1 year, the one school you're talking about. Then there's Johnstown, Pitt, Johnstown, right?
Yeah, that's where I'm going to college.
Okay, let's take a break. I'm getting tired.
Yeah,
82, you're about to get tired at 82.
yeah.
I still drink every night, that keeps it going.
Yeah.
Nobody's here to talk to, I go down and meet the guys.
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of young guys, and I got nine signed up for me for, I'm not big.
Yeah.
And they were all muscle guys because they were weightlifting and everything like that. Now when I get in trouble, which I don't get, students forget you after your principal, and they're serious. They said, if anybody touches you, Mr. Lavanche, boy, and I'll tell you, I see their arms. Oh, man, they lift weights, they're like 25, something like that, there's 9 of them. They're all my buddies. And then they start saying, do we get mustering out pay? Do we get paid for doing this? I said, no, you're just a good friend. They buy me a beer once in a while.
What part of the world was your favorite when you were over there?
What?
What country did you like the most when you were?
After the war was over, Germany, because I fell in love, and I had, this is a good one. For sergeant, you can do anything,
Yeah.
So my 200 guys would put a tent up across the football field, and they had a tent up over there, and they had a tent here, and it was raining like hell. So I went over to one of them. I said, "What's going on?" You wasn't allowed to fraternize. You wasn't allowed to speak to the Germans at all for 3 months at least, So they'd look the other way and all that because they were enemies yet,
Yeah.
So these guys, they got a tent up and they got a whore in the other tent, and there was only one. And those guys were all waiting in line. You could see the line, and I told them. I said, I got them together. I said, now that's dark. Now we're going to quit. They said, "Oh, can we do it tomorrow?" I said, "I don't give a shit. Do it tomorrow if you want to." But just think, if you have 200 guys, one of them's going to have syphilis or gonorrhea.
Yeah.
And they're saying, "Come on, Sarge, she's good looking. You didn't even see her." I said, "I got my girl," and I did, but she was beautiful. And even my wife said, that was before she knew me and I knew her. She said, that's war business, or that's not. She said, "You knew what I was going to do. I was really going to marry her. I mean, that's how pretty she was and everything." And she had a college degree and everything. And her dad was number 3, not under Hitler, but under the 3 big ones are always Hitler's buddies, And then her dad was a colonel, and he was a prisoner in Russia. So I had, anything. Anytime I wanted a truck, I just called somebody,
Yeah.
So then I took gasoline from where we were using it and took it back to Alsace-Lorraine, where that's where she and her mother wanted to go. And you ought to have seen their house, spiral staircases, and he was one of Hitler's boys,
Yeah.
And you know what stopped me? There was a guy in Portage, one of my best friends. He went up as soon as the war broke out. He joined Pearl Harbor. He joined and went to Alaska, and he was sitting with his buddy, like you and I are, and they were cleaning their guns. And just when they just got in, it's basic training. His buddy had the shell and didn't know it, killed him. So when I showed the girl, I didn't realize that she'd know all these people. So I showed the girl. I said, "Here's my friend that was killed right away, right as soon as the war began." She said, "Oh, that's a shame. Next time we met, we have to meet in the woods, so you wouldn't lose your stripes, So the next time we met almost every other day, and would go in the woods, lay down, have fun, and go ahead. So I used to go back with the guys. Usually staff sergeants and them, they get close together,
Yeah.
"Sergeant, did you bang her? Did you bang her at all?" "No." I said, "No, she's too pretty." And I wasn't going to. I said, "Never." A couple of weeks later, they said, we disagree with you. I think you did. So I was going to marry her. I really was. She was beautiful. And then she spoke English, and she had a college degree. And all those guys were pilots. In fact, one time I was going along, I gave the order. There was 220 fighter pilots, planes. And they were just sitting out in and I said, "Hey, look at that goodies." Turned to all 81 tanks on those, because maybe they'd get gas. See, they ran out of gas, and they were brand new, because we didn't have jets.
Yeah.
Oh, that's the good one. Germany had, I tell this to everybody, Germany had everything better than we had, except the M1 gun. That was the best of all the wars with Russia or anybody. So how was that? Oh, okay, they had a better tank, they could knock us out they could knock us out at 800 yards, we couldn't knock them out at 1,200 yards. Everything was better. They didn't have the machine gun like we had, and ours went burp, 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 burp. Their machine gun went brut, brut, and they had gloves to hold it on, they'd take the barrel off. In fact, the last day of the war, I was in Czechoslovakia, I was in one of those barns, and a whole bunch of us was in barns, and mostly staff sergeants. And I said, hey, that's our two guys out there with a machine gun, and the Germans are shooting at them. I got up, you know, that's what I should do, and I did. I jumped up and I started running. I said, shit, I'm not going to get killed the last day of the war. So I turned around, went back, got in the barn, let them fight it out. But then next day, when it broke, we were playing softball. That's how, one day it was war, and here come two jets. And we thought they're going to strafe us, you know. We're out in a baseball, like a baseball field. And the two planes come over, they knew the war was over, two Germans. They flipped their wings, means, you know, we're not going to hit you, you know. But boy, that was scary, you know. Here comes two jets. In fact, when I saw my first jet, I had all my tanks lined up. And we didn't know it. And way out there was a dot, you know. And then, whoom, the jets. We don't have jets. They just went right over it. Any time they see a jet, they weren't shooting at you, you know, because they figured it's almost over, you know.
Yeah.
Whew, you guys are getting me tired. Hey, go ahead.
All right. What'd you miss most about back home when you were over there?
What did I think about most?
No, what'd you miss most about home?
You didn't have time. No. We wrote letters maybe once a month or something like that.
Like, did you get homesick at all?
No, not really. Well, see, I was away 3 years, Bell Aircraft.
Mm.
That's what made me, you know, more alert, you know, because, you know, they were there. I got the experience, you know. I was away from home. That's what I mean. I didn't get homesick then, but I would have if I, you know, didn't have this 3 years, you know.
Yeah.
Then I went to school too at night, University of Buffalo, so that helped. I got 6 credits, you know. Yep. Well, the only time it bothered me, we lived on Mountain Avenue, and it was my time to go, so we went to Southwark and got on a train. But naturally, Grandma, Mom, my mother was, oh, Emilio, you know, Emilio, where are you going? Where are you going? I said, Mom, you know where I'm going, Germany. Yeah. So that was a scare, you know, that shook you up.
Mm.
In fact, the house we had there, we got, or like my father-in-law built this and all, but this is really weird. I said, I sold the house, I was the executor. I sold the house to the lady and her husband staying there. And he was a 20-year or 30-year guy, you know. He was in the service. And when I said was all the paper, I said, we have one more problem. She's a lady from England, and he brought her over to the United States, and they bought our house, you know. But I was the executive; I could do what I wanted. So she said, "It's all over, isn't it?" And I said, "No, we have one problem." And she said, "What's that?" We have this lawyers, you know, all set everything. She said, "What do you want me to do now, Mr. Lance?" I said, "Mother goes with the house." What? My mother stayed there. You know, she cooked for 2 years, and we were on our own, and Mother stayed there. Then my sister, Geisdown, she said, "It's not fair to her, to my sister, because she was keeping her for 6 months, and we were all, the other 7 were keeping her for the rest, 1 month each, and I was flying her all over the place, and she was 88 or 89. And one time down Pittsburgh, I took her to Pittsburgh, and then she was flying to Detroit, and the plane caught on fire. Their captain and co-captain, there's buildings, I didn't know that, a little cement ball, and the captain caught my mother and me, and took us in that building until it was over. And it was just maybe 2 or 3 feet of flames, and then my mother spoke broken English, Italian, and these 2 guys got her underarms, the captain and the assistant, you know. They're walking, and I said, "Mom, you don't have to take this flight. We can wait a half an hour, and get another flight to Detroit." "No, no, no, no," she says. they don't want to die. The captain and they didn't want to die in a plane, you know. So they cracked up. The captain and the lieutenant, you know, they cracked up. My mother said, no, 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 they don't want to die. And naturally, if they wreck, they're going to die, you know.
Yeah.
That was funny. Well, what else? I got soda. You want soda?
Thanks.
You want soda?
That's all right. No, thank you.
No? What a flight too. Thank you.
Yeah.
Yeah. First time I had any seniors in this house. Oh, I had the ones that were seniors. My seniors built that second breast out there, and thank goodness that's when the big flood came back in 70, when I retired, 70, let's see, 77. I've been retired 28 years.
That's the year my dad graduated, 77.
Huh?
My dad graduated that year.
Did he?
Yeah.
In 77.
Uh-huh.
I must have, was he Portage?
Yeah.
That was my last year, I probably know him. What was his last name?
Gauss.
Huh?
Gauss.
Gout.
Gauss. G-O-U-S-E.
Yeah, Gauss.
Yeah.
The coach is that same name?
Yeah.
Oh, right, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I had a lot of Gauss in school, you know.
Mhm.
In fact, I think I had all the older ones, you know.
Mhm.
I know I had the father. Mother.
Father.
Mother was a little, she wasn't mental, but she was, like she'd walk by herself, you know, Prospect Street, then turn around, walk back. There's something, and, but then she died, but I mean, they got along for a lot of years, you know.
Yeah. Is that my grandma you're talking
Yeah,
about?
right.
Yeah, she just died a couple years ago.
Yeah, right,
Yeah.
that's the one.
Yeah.
They lived up on Prospect Street. Yeah.
They still live there. When my pap
Yeah,
still
well,
lives
they were
there.
good. They were good friends, you know, with
Yeah.
me.
So-
This is like being on a rack where they stretch you out.
How long did you stay in Europe after the war was over?
One day.
Is that it?
No, this is another
Wow.
good story. We didn't need the tanks anymore, you know.
Mhm.
So they put us in the infantry. I was still first sergeant. So I never marched with these new guys, you know what I mean? And I never had much marching because I was always in the office and in the tanks. That's where we were, you know.
Yeah.
So there was 2,200 soldiers in that, and it's still going. Now it's big. It's like 4 or 5 times bigger. It's in Missouri. And I was the last guy. I kept a cook, and for cooking for us till we got rid of all those guys. A couple of weeks it took us. And then we got the people with the clothes, staff sergeant with the clothes and staff sergeant with the food, just one each, you know. And then we send everything home. I mean, not the food,
Yeah.
but the khakis. I had khakis, 30, 40 khaki pants, khaki shirts. We were stealing them. We just take them home because we used them in the summertime, you know. It was something. But when you go out there and you have your gun and your pack and all that, and it's 2,200 guys, and you're looking back and it's like a ghost. It's like a ghost because nothing there, you know, no people, nothing. No women or anything like that, you know. I mean, no cleaner, I'm cleaning,
Yeah.
talking about cleaning. What's the name of that? It's really important now, it's real big.
Where
Anyhow, it was the last one, and then a fella, his son-in-law was a lieutenant. I said, check the library, he was gonna be stationed out there. Oh, Woods. Anyhow, when he was going to leave, I knew his dad. I told his dad, his father-in-law, I said, "Tell him to check the library and see if the last person that left was." They were closing everything down, you know, and they were sending everybody home, and he was going in. They were starting up a new one, you know. So he said, "What's the favor you want?" I said, "Go to the library and see if you find Albert Lavanche, you know, the last person to leave." And he tried, but he couldn't find it. Yeah, I'd like to put that in the dispatch. Last guy to take out 2,100. I should have shot them all, huh? Right,
Yeah.
no, that's not right. Okay, what's next?
How did you get over there? Did you go on a boat over?
Oh yeah, big Queen Elizabeth. But
Where'd
they
you-
had another problem. I was like, no, staff sergeant, not a first sergeant, but we were so crowded with that boat, like thousands of soldiers, that it started flooding over in the bathrooms, you know. And I went up to a captain, not the captain of the ship, I went up to our new captain, okay?
Yeah.
And I said, Captain, there's guys down there vomiting and all that. I said, and the water's going over, you know, and he said, well, we'll sure take care of that. And I said, well, you better, because that's not right. I was a staff sergeant, but I wasn't the first sergeant. And he was a second lieutenant. And he said, we'll get it cleaned up. I said, well, I hope so. And he said, I got an idea. We'll get all your fellows out of it, maybe 12 or 15, puking, you know, and all that. He said, I'll tell you, I got a better idea. We'll put you up with the second lieutenants who never got any water, you know, they're up here, they were going over. There's another thing. In World War I, only sergeants took, you know, went on patrol, 12, 13 guys. In the Second War, only second lieutenants took, they changed completely. Instead of a non-commissioned officer, the next time they went on, they looking, you know, they were checking where the enemy is and everything, and it's dangerous. They were all second lieutenants. And when I got up there with 4 or 5 guys or 9 guys, I said, you're getting some company. And they said, oh, okay, what's wrong? We said, it's flooding down there. And he said, don't worry, it's great up here. Then I started listening to them talking. They said, you know what a guy lasted, second lieutenant, when he went into England and then Germany, France and Germany, what he looked for, he wanted to have these guys like buddy, which was nice, you know. And then they start talking among themselves, you know, like whispering. And one guy said, first thing I'm going to do when I get out of my trench, he said, first thing I'm going to do is hold my hand up and get a bullet in it, you know, when the Germans are shooting, you know. Another guy said, I'm going to cut my finger off, you know, then I won't be able to fight. Right? You know. In fact, that's how scared they were. They were second lieutenants, all of them, all second lieutenants. And they knew they only lasted more than 2 weeks. 12, 14 days, that was it. They got killed, or they got in the hospital, you know. So they had the bad job. They really had the bad. They'd take a second lieutenant and give them 12 guys and say, march out a mile and see if some Germans out there somewhere. And then they'd go out and go back at night always, you know. Whew, you guys are tiring me out. I enjoy it though. I don't do this once a year, I guess, maybe twice. I only had it twice. That girl I was telling you about. Is she a senior now?
No, she's a junior.
Junior. She was a sophomore last year.
Yeah.
She'd come up there with her mother. They were split somehow, you know. But she was real pretty. Blonde, long hair. And she was a Ronin.
Mm-hmm.
I just talked to Grandma Ronin and her husband, well, you wouldn't know Slick. Slick and I graduated together. The guy that died.
Yeah, he just died not too
Huh?
long ago. He just
Did
died not too long
you
ago.
know about him?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, I was talking to his wife. His first wife died 6 years ago. And I went up to keep her, just to talk to her, because we both all the 3 of us graduated together in high school. And she said, why don't you come up and visit? So I went on the phone and I said, when I get a day free, I'll come up. So I'm going to, but I called her on the phone. Really weird. My wife and I were going to Florida, 21, but Okeechobee was a big lake, and that's where we always stayed. And that was another buddy from Portage who got in. Went to college, and he's head of a band down in Huntington. So then he was a guide. He was a guide. You know, they take guys out to fish. You know, all that time. So what happened then? Well, then I lived there. We lived there. Shirley and I. What we'd do, we'd buy all the food, and they booze like crazy. And we'd buy the booze, and then every Friday we'd play pinochle for who gets supper on. You know, go out to a restaurant. It worked out real well. That's 21 years we did that. And they just loved us, and we loved them, you know. We'd go like 3 months, January, February, March. Last year I was going to go because my 2 buddies were still there, the 2 fellows, you know. Mm-hmm. And I chickened out. When my wife died, I didn't want to go anymore. We went to Europe twice, well, to see my tango on a movie. Mm-hmm. That was the second time. The first time was not nice. It was when they were killing guys, you know. So in fact, I even got a credit card. Never had a credit card in my life. Always paid cash, but I got a credit card, and my daughter at work filled it out and all that. And I said, honey, I can't believe you dead. First you tell me when I go to work, you're going to Florida. Then when I come home from work, for not going to Florida, you know. And she said, I don't want to hear about Florida. She's screaming. I don't want to. She's always doing all the work, you know. I just chickened out, you know. After my wife passed, you don't, you go through a doll system, you know. Well, I got a lot of buddies the same way, you know. They have their wives are gone, you know. Oh, you want to see our family right up there? That's Grandma and Grandpa Lavanche. 3 boys and 3 girls. What's that little girl doing up there? And, yeah. Oh, this is a sad one. Sir, this is a sad one. You see that center picture up there?
Yeah.
I was teaching him to drive, you know, 15 years old, teaching him down a football field. And he was an artist. He was an artist.
Yeah.
He went, his mom and dad took him down to Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh. He was 13 years old. He had 4 scholarships.
Wow.
Just from drawing. And he could have gone anywhere he wanted to in the United States. And then when he got hit by a train, it was so weird. He wasn't crossing the tracks, he was alongside the tracks. Well, when it comes around that curve down the arch, that's where he got it, going around the curve. And his buddy was supposed to meet him there, and he didn't meet him 2 times, and third time the buddy wasn't there, but he was, you know. Oh, I tell you, the whole town, I'm telling you, I mean the whole town. Cassandra, Shoemaker, any place. Everybody knew about him because he sold a paper every Friday. You know, he'd charge a quarter, and his friend's dad had a computer way back then. That was 17 years ago.
Wow.
He had then they published a paper, and it was all his drawings, you know. Oh, where do I have them? I won't even look. I have a drawer out there filled. When I get there, I get crushed. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I don't want to even go in that room even. This one here. So it was sad for a good while, you know. And now Cliff, he's not the artist, but he's all straight A's in English, and he got his masters and doctors. So we got one left. Thank goodness.
Yeah.
But another thing, that when he was there, he wanted to, when he was talking to the chancellor, who's #1, he had phone calls to all they took him out for dinner and everything. My daughter and son-in-law, and of course Pat was with them, and he said, Pat, you know, are you satisfied now? And he said, just one thing, sir. Real well-mannered too. Just one thing, sir. He said, when you know where Peanuts, and he's from Philadelphia, he's telling the chancellor, he said, yeah, I know him personally. And Pat said, I would rather go to his college, you know. He was the artist, the real artist, you know. Peanuts, remember you read Peanuts? Well, this Dr. White that's where Pat wanted to go to school, but the train, you know, didn't make it. But he was smart enough to say, I want to go where Peanuts is. Yeah. Anything else?
Did you have any close friends that were wounded or killed in action?
Mumble.
Did you have any close friends that were wounded or anything in
There was
action?
a lot killed.
Oh, really?
Yep. It wasn't just the first tank, it was all kind of.
Wow.
The Panzerfaust was the worst. They'd dig a hole like the little kid, but they wouldn't dig holes, they'd dig trenches and they'd wait for you.
Yeah.
And then the bazooka Panzerfaust. But you could knock out their tanks. They were too that thick, you know, where ours wasn't. I said they had everything better done. Better everything. Machine gun, here we go, well, they're throwing 1,200 rounds a minute, and you're going to kill a lot of people. And we didn't have that. And then that's the bad part. We went into Korea. Instead of copying, I guess schools, they put that in your mind. You always tell your students don't cheat, you know. But that's exactly what Russia did with Germany, and they gave them they gave them an outline for the tanks, the planes, and everything. They got it from Germany, and then they went down as well as North Korea. Well, that was the enemy, but South Korea, they had the same old tanks. They got the ones that got all shot up, you know. Well, just like Vietnam, it's 66,000. Man, that's a lot of Americans, I'll tell you. Well, you know, for Nam, and they were the communists anyhow, you know. Well, how's it going?
Pretty good.
Pretty good.
Yeah. How did soldiers entertain themselves while they're there?
For entertainment?
Yeah.
There wasn't much in it. Well, I know I pulled my slip once and I got, no cheating, I was first sergeant. It just happened, I got my name and they took me off the line and let me go to Paris for a week. And I didn't have any money. So I'd go, there'd be guys what they do, what the French women wanted were silk stockings. Well, I don't know about it, my buddies always got, only 5 of us could go out of 200. Then another 200 would go, you know, another 5. So, first of all, they like shorts, you know, not the girls, I'm talking about the guys. And they'd give you silk stockings, and they wanted the shorts. So there'd be French men, you know, and they'd run along the train saying, hey, you know, shorts, you know, shorts. And then I had a whole week to myself, and all those girls. I wasn't married then.
Yeah.
No, seriously, I wasn't. Oh, wow. Boy, I thought we were just going to go about 5 minutes. Holy smokes. No, I have nothing to do.
Yeah. Do you recall any humorous events happening?
What's that?
Any funny events happening during the war? Anything that was...
Funny event? Oh, one funny event. One of my buddies was going up over a fence. He got shot in his ass. He's going over the fence and he's up there screaming. Well, we were back, you know, I don't know where the hell he came from. Well, he went right to the hospital, of course. Rifle, whoa. That was a funny one, but it wasn't funny.
For him.
Huh?
It wasn't funny for him.
It wasn't funny for him.
Everyone
That's a
else
good
stopped
idea.
over the fence, yeah.
Right.
What were some of the pranks that you or your...
I'm going to write your names down, okay? You write them for me?
Yeah.
Just put them right on any place there.
What were some pranks you would pull?
Huh?
What were some pranks you guys would pull?
I'm sorry, I can't hear you.
Pranks.
I got a hearing problem.
Some pranks you would pull?
Passing.
Pranks.
Pranks.
Parents.
Were there any
Pranks. What kind
you
of pranks
pull?
did you do while you were there?
Pranks.
Like on your fellow companymen?
Like, did you pull any pranks on them?
Speak up, I'm not hearing anything.
Did you pull any pranks?
Only pranks?
Pranks.
No, we didn't. We weren't.
You didn't mess around or
Like
anything?
if we'd get a day off or something like that, we'd try to find a woman. You know, that was the only thing, friend.
Yeah.
But going under that stuff was fun. I liked that. You know, but machine guns too. We were in good shape. That's what we were doing. I'll tell you. You walk 25. You got them all down?
Yeah.
Oh, you wrote them down already. Thanks. The one big rough one was 25-mile hike, and they had these trucks, and guys were flopping all over the place. And they were throwing them in a truck. They weren't dead. They were just tired. You know, and a lot of them had to go back. You know, I hated to go back. Not that same day, and
Yeah.
maybe a month later they'd try to make it. You know, I did it. I don't say I did it easy, but I stood with it. You know, the whole time. We'd get 5 minutes in every hour.
Yeah.
No, 10 minutes in every hour. Then you take a break, then you go again. But they were just flopping. Probably it was a whole battalion, and that would be like a couple thousand. And that was your graduation. If you passed that, you were all ready to, you know, be a soldier. Then you went under the wire, of course, and under the machine guns, of course.
Yeah.
But anybody ever did it once, we were nuts. We went twice we'd do it when we get another rank, another place, you know. We'd say, Captain, do you have any more room? Yeah, we got 2 fat guys, or two guys that are 1 thumb off or something, you know. They looked for something, you know.
Did you
Wow,
use
that
the...
girl didn't last 5 minutes last year. Holy mackerel. She was worth looking at. You guys should have been there. I'm too old for that. Mustangs.
Yeah.
Yeah. I coached 10 years too. High school.
What sport?
Hmm?
What sport do you coach?
So seniors, all the junior, senior, the varsity.
Football? Or...
What?
Did you coach football or...
Oh yeah,
Sort of
football. Football. My brother, he flunked 8th grade. There was a difference when 8th grade, when you went 8th grade, way back then, you had to pass a test, and they come from the county and tested you. Well then if you didn't pass the test, you went back to 8th grade again. So my brother Gino, really good running back, now than me, a single wing, that's all he had then.
Yeah.
All I did was block. But then I got Gino, my brother, he got a scholarship, 139 pounds he was. And he went to University of Tennessee, got a scholarship, 2-year scholarship free. And darn it, all I did was block, but then I fixed him. he cracked his ribs. And I was always blocked, and Chet Hawker and the other guy would all lock our arms and would take the end out, you know, and Gino would go for the touchdown, Norman, my brother.
Yeah.
So he got hurt, he cracked ribs, 3 cracked ribs, and we're playing Westmont. I got my chance. He was hurt, so he was next to the coach that was scouting us. And our coach said, the coach that he had his ribs cracked, the coach said, well, we got Gino already, you know, we scouted them. You said we're allowed to scout them and all that. They were scouting them, you know. And it was me out there, and they didn't know that. And the coach said, that's Emilio. He said, what do you mean, Emilio? That's Gino. No, this is Emilio. He's the guy playing Gino's part. 3 touchdowns. I had 3 touchdowns against Westmont, which was one of the big, tough teams. And I ran 108 yards. I'm left-handed, left-footed. I faked the kick. Another 4 touchdowns, and I got the trophy they give out every year. I got it. And Gino was cracked ribs. He didn't get anything. Well, he got a scholarship. That's a lot better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Yusko was telling us you have the record.
Oh, I could
at
have.
Point
If
Stadium.
he would have passed, he could have been in first, you know, and then I could have been in 8th grade. But it didn't work out that way. He flunked, and I went ahead, and he went ahead too, but he flunked. So he had to take it the second year.
Yeah.
But I wish I had that 1 year myself. That's what I tell everybody. Why didn't he get hurt some other time? You know, get some cracked ribs and let me get out there, you know. Well, I was still in there every game, but blocking, you know, you can't do anything when you're blocking. Oh, I caught a couple passes, left hand, that was another thing. I'd run out this way and stop. Gino would be out there somewhere, you know. Touchdown all the time. We beat the township 61-0. What happened, our coach was scouting, and a guy from Salmon was taking notes. That was township. We weren't Burren Township then.
Yeah.
That was township. So the coach went over the sideline and said, where are you from? He said, are you from the township? He said, yeah. We said, you get out of here. You can't put me out. He said, this guy was about 18, 19, you know. He said, and our coach was big. He said, I'll put you out. He said, the coach said, I'll put you out. He slugged him. He slugged the guy. $13 fine. He made him, for every dollar, he made the guys run through everything they had. Well, first they got him out of there, you know, they got him out. And then how did he get out of that one? Oh, we had 2 bad ones. Evansburg came down, the football field was where the liquor store is now.
Yeah.
There's a fence around it called the Moose Field.
Yeah.
And a riot broke out. They had state cops and everything because we got into a fight, you know. It was bad in those days. In fact, they played the Steelers, but not the first team. And Steelers beat them 41-0 right down in Portage.
What years was that?
Their second, oh, it's way back. I graduated in 60 years ago I graduated. But you remember a lot of stuff. Yeah, you really do.
Yeah.
So he paid, that's what he did, he had to pay a fine, $13. That's what he paid to the mayor, you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Mr. Yusko told us you had the record at Point Stadium for the longest run, 99 yards or something.
What's that?
Mr. Yusko was telling us you had the record at Point Stadium with 99-yard run.
108.
That was 108.
108 yards. They didn't count going over the goal line like they do now.
Yeah.
It's done at the goal line, you know.
Yeah.
But there's a lot of different stuff then, you know. I know.
So
I was back,
108
you know, I
yards.
faked the kick and up the middle. And I'll tell you, we had no, I don't think you guys were there then. I'm talking about maybe down in 7th grade or something. Did you ever hear of Krishko being a coach?
Yeah.
In Jamestown, Krishko? Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Well,
okay,
he almost broke my record, but football went out of his hand when he was running. So he's so heavy, he's big.
yeah.
Shoulders on like it. He's running, and football's going that way. He didn't break my record. If it had got it, it'd break my record. You know, he was back at the goal line too. You know, that was a couple of years after my time. You know, quite a few years. Anything else?
Did you use Vmail?
Big part.
Did you use Vmail?
3 mile.
Email.
Vmail?
Oh, did we have Vmail?
Did you use
Yeah.
it?
Oh yeah. I used it. Yeah. It's just a little letter, about this big, yellow.
Did they censor your mail?
Yeah, well, my older sisters, you know, they didn't go, of course. They'd answer my mother and dad. My mother and dad couldn't speak English. They spoke Italian all, That's where we learned it. That was good. That's why I didn't have to take it in college. You have to take two foreign languages in a lot of schools, And I had French and Italian because my mother was French and Italian, my dad was French and Italian, so we learned, both languages. Did you ever hear Bionis? He just died. Ferdy Bionis. He was my age, and he was my cousin. He was a district attorney for 16 years. What a wonderful guy. At 82, like I was. He was 1 month. I had to always, every time he saw me, he made me either take my hat off or bow, because he was 1 month older than me. I had to respect him, because he was my elders. We used to kid about that in church, we were rushers, So,
Did you know?
your Gauss, well, I can see it right here, huh?
Yeah.
I was mine.
I'm Gordon.
Holy shit, how am I gonna read this?
The glasses.
Oh, yeah, thanks. I forgot about it. I never used them. I forgot about it. Corey Fuller. You're
Yeah.
Fuller, huh?
I'm Corey
Fuller. You been here in Portage a long time?
Not my family, but my mom's maiden name's Gala.
Gala.
Yeah.
Oh, I knew a lot of Gala.
It's,
I knew the
they've been here
guys
for a
too.
while.
The older fellows.
And
Were they on Orchard Street at one time?
yeah,
Were they?
I believe.
I think they were too, because right next to the church, Polish church.
Yeah, right down there.
Okay, that's wonderful. And Kick, Brandon. There's a Brandon in Forest Hills that gets in a Legion all the time. Well, you guys can't, you're not of age, but his grandpap was the bartender, so they'd go and shoot pool. He was built like you, big guy. Brandon, he was only a sophomore. And then Charlie Gauss. That's you, of course, huh? Hey, that's nice printing. Who did it? You did it, huh? Hey, you did something good, huh?
Yeah.
He took all the thunder. Let's see. Oh, I see I have my tank here. Did you guys see my tank? It's not the real one. Not the one I had. Oh, yeah, I got these things. Have to look these over. Oh, then here's my notes for World War II, which Cliff's gonna... you can tell I didn't go very far. Back to Alsace-Lorraine. That's when I was taking my girlfriend back to France. Dad was an SS general. Remember I told you he was a prisoner of Russia? 95,000 German prisoners marched through Moscow. 5,000 came back. They killed 90,000 Germans going through Moscow, going right through the street. They were shooting them. You can't believe how many people they killed. In Germany, they were just the same thing. Germany was, they would do that to the Russians, One time I read, in 1 week they had 33,000 Russians killed. 1 week, 33,000. That's something. Boy, I can tell you a lot, but we're not going into that. Oh, I told her about my picture about Russ being killed up in Alaska. This was written to the girlfriend. I better put that away. It'll get me excited. So I had notes. So Cliff's gonna. Oh, here's one I really like. We're going in the first tank. Our first tank. We're going through a bombed-out village, and a lady was there out the window with rosaries, and she had rosaries, and she's holding them up to me like this. And I pulled in a tank. I told the driver. You always do with the driver, assistant driver. I said, that lady wants something. I said oh, you're always on the phone, and she had a rosary and said me, like she wanted to save me, and she was the enemy. It really got to me. She could have been a soldier, killed me, because I was on a cannon, but she was being nice. I mean, really nice. That really shook me up. Lady praying with a rosary out of the window. That's it. Well, Cliff, get started. That's your job now. Oh, here's the pictures of the tank down Legion. Now that tank's way bigger than mine, but it's an American tank now. And that's me with the uniform on.
Yeah, the
that
one
I
you
made
showed
put
us.
together. That I put together. Khaki pants.
I think you might be.
We got the
Well, this
questions.
is your pen. One of your pens, isn't it?
I think we should do the beginning part of this and then we can be finished.
Yeah.
We got pretty much.
Oh, here comes the boss.
You can finish.
Oh my, they got me dry, my throat. They asked so many questions.
They did. Oh, yeah, too many.
They're a good bunch of boys.
Yeah, they're right.
I got their names down now.
Okay.
Gonna get him something for
I
Christmas.
thought I'd catch him swimming in your.
I'm gonna get him
pond or
something for
something.
Christmas.
Oh,
Did you see my tanks down by the Legion? The pictures of the tanks?
The picture or the,
Huh?
you mean the one,
The ones,
There's a tank
Carrie,
down Legion.
my daughter took them. This tank's twice as big as the ones we had.
twice as big as yours?
Oh, yeah.
I have a couple last questions. Where were you born?
Where was I born?
Yeah.
Leadville, Colorado. My dad was a gold miner. He worked out there for 25 years and made a good living, but no. What he gave us a piece of gold one time was all 7 kids, but he had to dig it out. Mine, but this is really something. There were 5 Italians, and they all got together and became like a union, you know. And if you wanted it, they'd give you a horse, mule, and they'd give you dynamite and everything else, and then you're on your own. But they're afraid of the mafia. One guy said he's going to quit, and my dad said, "Why are you quitting? We're making a good living." And he said, "I just want to go. I want to try something new." And my dad said, "We're not mafia, you know. They call them black hands." When